carrots today, and it's probably the best time for me. I love carrots. I'm going to grow a few. What I'm going to do is to show you the carrots I'm growing and how I'm going to grow these. From watching numerous internet searches on YouTube, other people growing carrots in the States and so forth, it seems to be the best way of doing it. So what piqued my interest, I'm going to grow these, the rainbow carrots, mix F1. So it's a combination of haze, yellow, white and your red carrots. So that'll be quite interesting. I sowed them last year and I think only a handful germinated. So before I tell you what I love in growing, a good tip when growing carrots, because of the poor germination rate I've had with these, is that what you should be doing is using the kitchen towel trick with, I use the lids because I've got hundreds of these takeaway lids. Basically you put paper towel, your kitchen towel onto the kind of more deep bit of the lid, put it down there, soak it with some water just so it's damp, put your seeds into this, put it back in the bag, put this in the fridge, or if you stay in Scotland as it is right now, totally freezing, you can put it outside into your shed overnight. I'm sure that will do the trick, it's just as cold as the fridge. And what that does is shock them, and then you bring it back out and put it into a nice warm bit to germinate, and they should germinate 5 to 7 days, and you'll know exactly how many carrots you'll be sowing. So once it germinates, you can then pluck it down into the ground. The reason for a damp cloth as well is that, as you know, carrot seeds need constant moisture when it germinates. If it dries out in the ground, it dies. So that's probably what's happened to my carrots, because when I sowed it, it was kind of warm, dry, wet, and so the ground dried out. Another method of doing this, apparently, which may work, is you sow your seeds directly into the ground, water it, put a plank over it for 5-7 days, lift the plank off, and it keeps it wet, and it should work. But then it's a hit and miss. Whereas if you do this way, you know how many carrots are growing. So as soon as it germinates, don't leave it too late, put it into the ground, because what you don't want is the roots to penetrate into the towel, and you start pulling it and you can break the roots. Okay, so yeah, rainbow mix is the one for me, I'm growing that. And also the samurai carrot, quite red, as you can see. By the way, all these carrot seeds are new to me, apart from the carrot mix, which like I said, sowed last year. So I don't know what it tastes like. It just looks so good and so tempting and so very, very delicious on the packet. Another one I'm growing is called the Manpukuji, which is a Japanese carrot heirloom, and these can grow up to 2 meters long, as you can see there. So I've specifically built a pallet raised bed, a good 2 feet high, and it's specifically for growing these carrots. So I'm really hoping they germinate and grow just as long as was in the picture. Time will tell. Whilst I was actually looking for these carrots, I found this. Oh, by the way, I got these from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, which is from the United States. This is where I found these. And these are called the Kyoto Red, which looks very similar to your Samurai. Although it does look more kind of redder and looks more juicier from the picture, but who knows. Feeling them, it feels like bigger carrot seeds. You know, typical carrot seeds are like quite fine, small things. So I'm just going to open it up, and this is the first time I've seen them. And I don't know if you can see these. I mean, I presume these has been coated with, I don't know, to help it germinate, maybe to keep it moist when you're germinating them. So, oh, looks quite good that way. Because I did wonder why the packet feels quite, the seeds felt quite big, and so that's a reason. So, all these carrots I'm showing you, they do have a sowing time of March onwards. Again, I don't intend to sow all the seeds in one go. I intend to like succession sow them. So I might sow about 20 to 40 now, and then about a month's time do another batch right until June. Although except maybe for the Mampugje and the Samurai maybe, or the Coyote Red. Depends how long it grows. I don't actually know how long the Coyote Red grows for, but I do know the other one grows to at least 2 feet, so I'm not going to succession grow those ones. I'm just reading the back of it. It says the Coyote Red grows between 12 to 18 inches. 18 inches, which is quite long, so we'll see how it goes. So that's the 4 main carrots I'm growing using that style. Also, if you wait to the end, I'll demonstrate what I do to my raised beds to encourage the carrots to grow straight. Nothing wrong with forked carrots. It's just that I just don't like a fork too much. So that's the idea, is to specifically make it your own blend of compost for the carrots to grow nice and straight. Also, carrots doesn't need that much fertiliser, or else all you get is a lot of greens, and you got a wee carrot that size, which you don't want, obviously, unless you just want to eat the greens and feed your chickens or whatever with it, your hamster and whatever, you know. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also going to grow Kailan white flowered vegetables. So another Chinese oriental vegetable. Like most Chinese vegetables, they don't like too much heat. Too much heat makes them bolt. Although it does say here that spring to autumn, but I've tried sowing this in summer, and it grew to be this high, and then it started to flower. Obviously, once it starts flowering, the stalk becomes more woody. You don't get much greens from it. So the best time to grow Asian vegetables is early spring if you can. Also, I don't have it. This is collected from an old packet of seeds. It's choysum, lovely broad green leaves used for salads and stir fry. The Kailan and choysum is great if you just like quickly boil them in water with some oil, take it out, drizzle some oil in it, and some soy sauce. It tastes fantastic, guarantee you. I mentioned before that that my hydroponics for my spinach had failed completely, and I'm re-sowing the seeds, so I'm hoping they germinate. What I didn't tell you is what they look like, apart from the brief description, which could be anything obviously. So I bought this from the local supermarket, and this is what I'm hoping that my spinach will look like when it grows. These are grown in Spain. Bring it without breaking into bits. There we go. Dragon tail spinach leaves. Fantastic, aren't they? They're quite broader, feels more kind of tougher than your standard lettuce leaves, but these are brilliant. And what I do is usually cut the bottom off because that's quite woody, and the rest of it can be stir fried. Oh, I know it's like stir fried, to be honest. Especially these type, they're really nice stir fried with a bit of garlic and a bit of fermented tofu. So that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully they'll germinate. If they do, I'll include it into a video to show you the progress. But stick for the end, because I've like to show you how I prepare my carrot beds. So for now, thanks for watching, and please share. Speak to you later. Bye for now. Stay safe. Right, so you want to grow nice straight sweet carrots. I was going to say think of something else, I just went blank there. Right, so what you need is something to mix it in. I've got a wheelbarrow, and it's a 40 litre compost, just general purpose, and into it I'm just putting a good 5% of perlite to one big bag of compost. In the compost is nothing special, just a general purpose compost. It's not enhanced, it doesn't have extra fertiliser in it. As you know, carrots doesn't like fertiliser, because you want the carrot to form not just pure greens. So just give it a good mix, used by hand preferably, or just put it through a sieve just to break up the compost. This allows the chunks to be broken down, prevents the carrot from hitting it and then having to go around it or split. So that's why I'm doing it by hand like this way. It's quite therapeutic as well, actually, funny enough. As well as that, you don't want any lumps of compost, because lumps of compost will hold moisture or water, and if carrots is resting on kind of bubbles of water, this carrot just goes soft and it goes kind of slimy. So you don't try to avoid that. So just give it a good mix. Once that's done, we just dump it into the prepared bed, which you can see here, which I filled up quite a bit already. You can see this ice here. This video was actually taken when it was still frosty, just the end of February. Still having ice, so it's now in the middle of March, and we do still have ground frost, so that's something to bear in mind. So I'm just preparing this bed here. As you can see, it's already pre-filled with compost and perlite. This is for my 2-foot carrots, just so it grows all the way down. Normal carrots doesn't need as high as that, but these are heirloom and they are quite long. Well, I'm hoping they will grow quite long. So just kind of fill it up, and once it's filled up, and if it's not ready for growing your carrots, put a plastic bag over it, just to allow the sun to heat up the compost. So when you are ready to transplant your carrots, the ground's warm. So you can see me here, I'm just covering up for now. And that's it. That's how you do a nice carrot bed. Thanks for watching. Take care.